Hey there everyone, this is Don, aka Tattoo Chef, coming at you from the Watch Freaks forum, and today we are going to do a video review of the Lum-tec G series G2. This is a new model from Lum-tec, recently released. This is a Swiss Ronda 515 quartz movement. You have a 45mm case. It is just about 13mm thick. 58mm lug to lug, and you have 24mm lug width. Right off the bat, one of the nice things that you'll notice, and the very unique things, is that this is a skeletal case design. Now this particular version, I'm not sure, there's a couple different models of this G series, different color dials and such, so I'm not sure if all of them are, but this one, the entire case is bead blasted, but the bezel is a brush finish, as you can see. So there's a very nice contrast there between the case and the fixed bezel. And as I said, this is a skeletal case, which is just very unique. You could see, pointing right through there, you could see the case design here. Oh, it is a skeletal case design. Basically, you want to, like, you can almost look at it that the, and I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like the section with the dial and the movement here is a separate piece, and then you have the outer piece that then is attached to it and screwed in here, because as you can see, you have the screws here. You can see that you have the screws here, but then you also have the screw down case back. So it looks to be two separate pieces that are then put together to create this case design, which again is just a very unique case design. I do like the all bead blasted finish. You have very nice signed crown. Now the dial, also very unique. Well, maybe not unique, but it's definitely not your off the shelf dial that in hands. That is for sure. As you can see, Lüm-tec had, I don't want to say issues, they just kept improving on it. This watch technically should have been released a little earlier than it was, but they had a problem with the hands, and they didn't like the way the prototype hands came out, so they went and redid the hands. And as you can see, if I can get this to zoom in properly, I apologize. There we go. As you can see, there's skeletal hands as well, and then the way they inset and filled them with loom. And now the inner part of the dial, the numbers, especially the 12 and 6, the inner part of the dial, they are loomed, but then there's the outer edge of the dial with the outer track numbers, and they are not loomed. And makes no difference when you're viewing it at night. This thing glows like a torch, which Lum-tec is known for, and they're always, doing very unique things with dials and in setting the loom and dial textures and stuff like that. But what creates a neat contrast, and it's probably hard to pick up on the video here, but what creates a neat contrast is the color of that outer track there on the chapter ring versus the color of the loom. The applied loom to the markers and the numbers, and so it creates a nice contrast in the daylight. Like I said, these hands, don't be fooled, these hands glow just as well as everything else on the dial. The way they put the loom in there is just really different. The way they skeletonized and cut out the hands and then inset it and filled it with loom. Now, it is a, like I said, it's about a 57-58 lug to lug on this, which is very long, but as you can see how much they curve down, it's really not an issue on the wrist. And what I like about this is, one, that they did go with quartz for this option, because, it makes it more affordable, price-wise, and two, I like this square case. It's, the square case, everybody associates, for the most part, a square case like this with Bell and Ross. I don't think anybody, though, will take a look at this watch and mistake it for a Bell and Ross. It has, they took that Bell and Ross instrument case shape, and then they totally went and did their own thing. They totally went and did their own dial. You don't have that 12369 that you see on a lot of the Bell and Ross watches or anything like that. So, definitely a very unique dial and case combination that they have there. This particular one comes in a black leather strap with the white contrast stitching, and it also has the bead blasted buckle as well. This retails, I believe, for, I want to say $535. So, you do have a, nice Swiss-made Ronda quartz movement in it. Very unique case design. I think for myself, I don't have any problem with quartz. I never have. But I think for myself, I do most of the time prefer auto. And a watch like this, I honestly can overlook it. I know, again, and I say this sometimes, as a reviewer, I'm just reviewing the watch as, something that I like or don't like, and I give you my opinions on it. So, just because I like something doesn't mean everybody else is going to. Some people might look at this and, they're just like, well, it's a little too out there for me. But honestly, it's supposed to be. If every watch looked traditional and the same, we wouldn't be buying so many watches. So, I definitely think that this is, not something for everybody, but if you like something a little different, something a little out there, want the convenience of the grab-and-go quartz, I definitely think this is a cool offer. One thing I want to point out, too, of course, always go to the link in the description to watchfreaks.com, see the full review, the wrist photos, the loom shots, and all that stuff. If anybody's ever tried on a Bell & Ross instrument watch or a couple of other square style watches, a lot of times, in my personal opinion, they're uncomfortable. The way they sit on the wrist, and the crown usually digs into your wrist, and they're just, not all the time is a square watch like this comfortable. That is not the case here. This is probably the most comfortable square, and I mean, this is an absolute, square watch that I've ever probably worn. And it's weird because I'm usually not the biggest fan of square watches, and not because of the way they look, it's because of the way they fit. So you can take a look at the wrist shots on watchfreaks.com as well. And check out the review, check out everything else. I hope you enjoyed this look at this Lum-tec G Series G2, and we'll be uploading more videos soon. Thank you very much.